Hey there guys, Matthew here from the Who Addicts and welcome to another Doctor Who review here on the channel. Today we are reviewing episode 7 of Doctor Who Series 11. Episode 7 already. Crazy. We are 3 weeks away from the finale. Pretty much, just over 3 weeks. That's terrible. But yes, today we are reviewing Kerblam.
Kerblam.
Never thought I'd be reviewing an episode called Kerblam. Kerblam. But of course, before we get started, if you want to listen to this review on the go and you don't want to be hindered by the YouTube app, just search for the Who Addicts on any of your chosen podcast providers and you can listen to this very review and all the others that we've done this series whenever, wherever you go, however you want, whenever you want. It's all very good indeed. So, Kerblam. An episode that, when I first heard the title and I saw the synopsis, I thought this sounds a bit silly.
Yeah.
But then after the Children in Need clip, I thought, okay, I'm liking the vibe this episode's giving me. And the more I saw it, the more I saw bits and pieces of it, I thought, this could be good, this. So what did you think of the episode?
Yeah, I had a similar expectations as you. When I first heard it was called Kerblam and just saw a couple of pictures from it, I kind of got the impression of, Smile. I felt like it was going to be that sort of an episode for some reason, like this weird, meant to be kind of funny but sinister at the same time, but it wasn't really anything. But I was actually very pleasantly surprised. How about you, Liv?
Same really, but I've got to say, at the weekend, before the weekend, and it was a reading cause I was reading a spoiler-free review. Well, that got me really, really I was hyped up for it more.
So what did you think of the actual episode?
I enjoyed it.
I know that it took you 2 rewatches to really gauge what the conclusion was about.
It's the thing with this ending. So was the episode, sorry. It's the ending has proper threw me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get to that towards the end of the review. But I do agree that it had some ups and downs, and then the ending got a bit confusing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the overall reaction for this episode's been really good.
Yeah, I haven't really seen that many negative things about it, which is quite rare.
Yeah, I saw people on Twitter afterwards saying it's the best episode of the series, and I was sat there, and I think the first 40 minutes I thought were brilliant. I couldn't really fault it, and then the last 10 minutes left me a little bit like, what? I wasn't. It's not that I was questioning it because I didn't like it. I was questioning it because I just wasn't 100% sure what had just happened and why this happened.
It got a bit convoluted towards the end.
Yeah, great word, convoluted.
Thanks.
What I would have liked more, because at the end was when the whole twist again. So I just found the twist a lot similar to last week's twist. So was it being a human? You ever not like the Kerblam men? Yeah,
the twist was. I don't know if that. I don't want to step into PC territory.
Oh no,
I really don't. But it is they are pushing a message of humans being the villain, and people acting certain ways, thinking certain things might be the villain. I mean, I personally, when I was watching this episode, I thought that the whole idea around Kerblam and the guy's motives, I think it was a subtle nod to where the world's going in a few decades, because as time's going on, and I'm sure in 10, 20, 30, 40 years' time, more businesses like Amazon or whatever are going to start being more and more automated. They won't need people to do the jobs anymore, so that there's going to be less people actually working. Some people are going to hate that. Some people are going to want to work. Some people are going to love the idea. And I think it is sort of subtly referencing where we might be in 50, 60 years' time.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if that was deliberate. I don't know if that was just where they got the idea from. But especially at the end when his whole motive was, that I hate the fact that we're going in this direction. I'm doing this. I don't know if it was a bit of a reference to, where the world's...
I think it was, emphasising how much technology is a part of the world and how, like you said, the way things are going, technology is going to be a bigger part of everyday life.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I did enjoy it though. I did.
Yeah, I did.
Just to say, I really did enjoy the episode. I I was a little bit surprised after the first watch because I was sort of looking on Twitter and people were praising the hell out of it, and I was still a bit puzzled by the ending. So at first I was a bit like, am I missing something? Am I missing something here? And I put a tweet out just saying with a puzzled face.
And everyone's like, oh no, do you hate it?
And people were like, what do you think? What do you think? Because I just didn't know. Thankfully, though, rewatch did me a lot of favours, I'd say. So then, the overall story then, basically, obviously the Doctor, her companions land at Kerblam. She receives a message that someone wants help. She obviously goes and investigates. And we find this very strange factory with very scary-looking robot monsters. People are going missing. What did you think of the overall story and the premise?
I thought it was quite a good idea, actually. I quite like the feeling that it's kind of human and like Earth-based, even though it's not on Earth, and there's actually very few humans. But I do like the whole kind of robotic twist on it, and I do think that the robot people, the postmen, whatever you want to call them, they were quite sinister, but I couldn't quite... Well, it's a good thing, is that I couldn't quite put my hand on what they were, and I was constantly thinking, are they the bad guys? What's going on? Because I kind of knew there was something more to them. So yeah, it kept me on edge.
Yeah, I thought they were a great monster. I thought they looked very scary.
I really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah, for the first time this series, I think I really felt like the characters were in a bit of danger.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we've been missing is that threat. And I got a real sort of Greatest Show in the Galaxy and Robots of Death vibe, which I really liked. It had like the fun of the 7th Doctor 80s sort of Who, but then it had the creepiness of sort of the 4th Doctor Robots of Death, which I thought was nice. They also reminded me of the host as well from Voyage of the Damned.
I got that, yeah.
And I thought they were really creepy, and I honestly thought that maybe they had been turned by something, or there was an error in the system, and I was hoping that they might have been the villain, but...
I was hoping that they would be the villain.
Yeah, I don't want to obviously jump too far to the end, but...
What I was wanting was for them to be the villain, because in their world, as they're shown that they don't need, like, us humans type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they wanted to sort of take over.
Yeah.
They want to be their own people.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. So the twist could have been done differently. Maybe a bit better in some parts, but we'll get to that towards the end. But I thought that they were really creepy, and as well as that, I thought the way that the episode was directed, I thought the set design of the factory
very good,
was very creepy. It sort of they made it.
I really like the whole set design for this episode.
Yeah, it sort of had a good mix of quirkiness, but also creepiness as well, which I thought was a nice mix.
Yeah,
which was really cool. It had sort of a very deserted. It felt like it was full of things, but also felt very empty as well.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's kind of what they wanted to go for with the whole. There's only 10% actual human workers in this, and everything else is kind of automated, whatever.
Yeah, so I thought the whole premise and the setting was all good. Set the episode up very well. We met a couple of characters on the way. Not the biggest side cast.
No.
This week, we had Kira, who worked in packaging. We had Dan, played by Lee Mack, who worked on the shop floor, I guess, in the warehouse.
I really liked him as well.
We had, I can't remember the actress's name, but she played the people's person. Was her name Judy?
Judy.
Yeah.
And then we also had the manager of the whole thing, and Charlie, the villain. In the last couple of episodes, we've had a pretty mixed side cast. I think we've had a few really good performers and a few really iffy performers, but I thought this week everyone was pretty good. What did you think of the side cast and their characters?
I liked them, apart from Kira and Charlie, which were a bit poor, I thought.
What, their acting?
Really?
Or their
Yeah,
characters?
the acting I thought was a bit poor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm the complete opposite. I thought they were really likeable. Well, obviously until Charlie was actually the bad guy. But I actually cared for Kira. I thought they were quite convincing characters, and they were quite likeable and also rememberable, I think, personally.
Yeah, I really liked them both. I thought Kira especially she was just a sweet, likeable girl, and she talked about how she'd never received a gift. She'd only received one gift, and she just seemed way too happy to... it was a nice perspective because she was doing a pretty boring, repetitive job, and it was the scene where the Doctor looked at her and said, "You have a really nice outlook on life."
Oh yeah, she did have a nice outfit.
And I just thought that was a nice little scene.
Yeah. And then she's just like, that's the nicest thing anyone said to me. And then the doctor's like, really?
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like this Who is very good. Every single character we meet, they spend 2 or 3 minutes just fleshing them out.
Yeah.
And it just adds an extra 10-20% to their character, so that when they do bite the bullet, you actually feel something. You feel something emotionally. And I can say with Kira and with Lee Mack's character Dan, especially, I mean, he was only on screen for minutes.
Oh, I loved him. I really liked him.
And he was killed off, and I don't know about you two, but I instantly thought, wow, I wish we got more of him.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But I do like how, even though we didn't get to see much of him, they came back to his character at the end, which I thought was quite a nice touch.
That was a lovely scene, that from Yaz. Lovely scene.
Yeah. She wanted to give the necklace back.
And that also built up on Yaz's character as well.
It did.
So win-win.
Yeah. This Doctor Who's got a very nice little human touch to it, hasn't it?
It does.
Little scenes like that. But I thought the entire side cast were really good. Charlie, I will say, I think when he come out as the villain, he was a little bit sort of like
monotone. I found him monotone.
I thought he was just a bit of a spoilt brat in a way.
Yeah.
He didn't come across as like, oh, this big evil guy that's been sort of behind the whole thing. Like he didn't seem clever or anything like that, or vindictive. He just sort of felt like he was a little boy who was unhappy, and he was just sort of throwing his toys out the pram a little bit. Yeah. I mean, if that's how they wanted to write his character, that's fine. But I didn't really, when at the end of the episode, when I realised who he was, I didn't really go, oh, you are a very evil man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It more felt like he was just, being like a little spoilt kid. In fact, I thought the manager was more threatening.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
He reminded me more of a Henry Van Staten kind of character.
He did. A lot of people compared him to Henry Van Staten.
Yeah, good shout.
But that was another thing that got me on first watch was, I think it sort of jumped. I mean, maybe that was the point of the episode. It sort of jumped from who the potential threat could be. So it was like, 1 minute you thought it was the robots, next minute you thought it was the manager. Then you started questioning Judy.
Yeah.
But then it turns out it was Charlie. And I can see why on first viewing that puzzled me a bit. But on second viewing, I kind of thought it was clever. Yeah,
I like that because it keeps you on edge, keeps you questioning, and keeps it fresh. It's not obvious who the bad guy is, which is kind of nice and different because it's not all the way through knowing that this person's gonna, be the whole threat.
As for the TARDIS team, they've been on a bit of a roll recently. I'd say the Doctor seems to have found her feet. The companions are all sort of finding their feet, doing bits and pieces. What did we think of them this week? Did they all shine, or was there anybody that you thought maybe fell into the background a little bit?
Not really. I think they all had their moments, and I think it was pretty well balanced.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the 13th Doctor, for the second week in a row, I thought she was pretty good once again. I think she's starting to find her feet pretty much. I can sort of see where her Doctor's going. I can sort of see what sort of Doctor she's becoming. I can see all the pieces coming together. I thought she was fantastic this week. Again, she had scenes where she stood up to some characters. She had quirky, funny moments. Again, I thought the scene with the fez.
I love that with the fez.
I love that.
That was an unbelievable reference. There was also some other great scenes where she was just that quirky, funny Doctor. She just had a bit of everything in this episode.
There's a reference to Unicorn and the Wasp as well, which I love.
Yes, that was the other reference. I just like them little nods. It just makes her feel like she's part of that, chronology sort of thing. I'm basically just repeating what I said last week, but the Sonic did my head in.
Oh,
yeah,
God, here we go.
Again.
Yeah, I agree.
Again.
And it's getting more on my nerves every time, I feel like. It seems like it's getting worse.
The thing is now, is in each episode, as I'm saying, any minute now, the Sonic's going to come out, and it does, like, literally all the time. Like, in that scene at the beginning of the episode, with them wrist straps around the ankle, I knew straight away that the Sonic was going to come out to zap it to change colour. Way too predictable all the time was this Sonic. Like, this Sonic needs to be left alone for an episode, at least an episode.
Yeah, it's a bit too much.
Yeah, I think for the first half hour, like, I remember when we were watching it, she sonicked one of the drawers open. And I remember you said, "Oh, for God's sake, she's using the Sonic again." And I was like, "Yeah, but Liv, she needs to unlock things with it. That's how she does using it." I thought, this is all right. But then as the episode went on, I was like, "All right, okay, you've used it for that. You're scanning
down.
that. Like, you're scanning that as well."
And it's the way that she does it as well that annoys me.
Do you not like
the over-exaggeration of it, of just like opening a chest of drawers?
Yes,
cool.
him.
I think that's just her having fun. I really like how she takes a deep breath and then she zaps.
It's so over the top.
Yeah, it is very over the top.
I do like it, but it's just the noise of the Sonic. It's there all the time, and she just never puts it away. So I mean,
that Sonic is out constantly.
Yeah.
Each episode, it's out constantly. It's far too much.
It's difficult. I mean, we discussed this last week. Exactly the same. It's not a big deal, but it's just annoying me a little bit. I'd love to just lose it for a week.
I would. Lose it.
Just give it an episode just to not be used.
Yeah, get the Pating to, I don't know,
Oh,
eat
God,
it again or
no.
something like that.
Yeah,
not them
it'll
back.
love that. All the Artron energy or whatever.
There'll be no energy left in that bloody Sonic if she keeps using it at the rate she is.
It needs charging.
I know, but I thought she was great this week. As for the companions, I thought Yaz particularly was very good.
Yeah, she was very good.
Yeah.
I liked how they got split off as well.
Yeah.
It's something that we've not seen yet, really. They got split off. I liked how they were doing their own different jobs. Obviously, Graham was the cleaner.
I absolutely love
Graham.
Graham. Like, every episode, he smashes it out the water. Like, for me, every episode so far of the series, I think that Graham, the standout performer, each episode, always on point. There's always quick, nice, funny lines he adds in. Just unbelievable, Bradley Walsh. Unbelievable acting from him. It really is.
Yeah, I instantly just smile every time he's in a scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he was like falling asleep when the robots were telling him all the protocols and rules and things.
I'm instantly invested in every scene he's in.
And Doc.
Yeah, when he says Doc and
Doc, I
like
love
cockle.
that.
He's just
he is the best.
He's brilliant. And Ryan as well, because of what his day job is.
Yeah.
He sort of took a little bit more of a lead in this episode. He was a bit more confident, and he just seemed to lead them all a little bit more. Felt a bit more in control. Wasn't just the one following others around. He was telling them where to go as well. So I liked that as well. I liked how they all sort of... And there was also a scene where Yaz got Charlie in like an arm bar or something. Like she got him sort of using her police training to get hold of him.
True.
To grapple him. So it was nice to see them using their own little individual skills to, you know...
Yeah, they all got their own chance to shine, didn't they?
So across the board, I think we can agree the TARDIS team were great. Once again, I think the four of them consistently now for the last 2 episodes have been...
Very good.
Very good indeed. The ending, obviously, we discover as time goes on that all these power outages are to do with one big teleport, which is going to be used by Charlie to send all of these delivery men out at once, which will send boxes to thousands of customers who will open them up, pop the bubble wrap, and they will all explode. And he was using the test subjects, or the missing people, to test whether the bombs would work. Like I said, at first, it took me a little while to piece all this together. I felt like maybe... The problem with there being a big twist like this is it's got to be a shock. So they can't really build up to it as much. So it's a big twist, it's a big shock, and they've got to sort of explain it all very quickly. So I liked it, and it's clever when you think about it and you lay it all out in front of you and you put the pieces together. I thought it was cool. You know, his motives were not the best. You know, I'm just not happy that
really.
Things are becoming more automated. You know, it didn't feel like the most evil motive.
No, but as a concept, I think it was quite clever.
So I liked it. I liked what he was trying to do, and in the end, it is quite brutal that he wants to blow up thousands of people just to prove a point.
Just a bit. So
what did you guys think of Charlie's twist and why he was doing what he was doing?
Yeah, I think it was clever, and I just do think that it also needed to be a bit more clearer in the episode, because as much as I did obviously get there in the end, I feel like there was probably a better way of explaining what his motives were, and I do kind of wish that he acted a bit more threatening rather than just a little boy having a strop because nothing's going his way. I felt like it was quite immature. And obviously that's probably what they wanted, because if it is what they wanted him to be like, then they've done that really well, and it's clearly his character. But I do think it was a bit weird for someone like Charlie to all of a sudden want to murder thousands of people to make a point.
Yeah, would you rather them maybe sort of build up to it and hint at it a little bit to give you a bit of a suspicion? Would you have rather have them done that than just suddenly pull this crazy twist out of the bag?
Yeah, it's just because it literally came out of nowhere, and just to have a little bit of a hint, like they did with all the other characters, where they're hinting that they might have something to do with it. It wouldn't have hurt just to have a little bit of a darker side hint towards him, rather than it, because he seemed like quite a nice kid throughout the whole thing, and then it didn't really make much sense.
Yeah, when I was piecing it all together, I was sort of trying to pick bones in it, and I was thinking, does this work? Does this work? And I was like, yes, it does. The reason why did he do that? Why did the Kerblam man try and attack him first? Oh yeah, because the system's fighting back. I thought, yeah, this all works. But there was one bit that made me think, well, why did he do that? And it was when he helped Graham nick the
plans or whatever,
Yeah,
and I just thought, well, if you've put this massive, you've got this massive idea that you're trying to do, and you've got this plan in place, and you get the slightest inkling that there might be these people here who've picked up that there's something not right, and they're clearly trying to find out what the problem is, why would he help Graham steal the plan? If he wants to keep everything hidden, and surely doesn't want anyone to have any idea of what's down at the bottom of the whole factory, what's down in the foundation levels. If he doesn't want people to know, surely he wouldn't be as willing as he was to help them in the first place.
Yeah, and surely if the whole bottom level is automated, then surely the system would have picked up that Charlie was going down there when he shouldn't be, I assume, to, get all these robots to not teleport away or whatever. I don't know. There are just some things that don't quite match up if you look into it that deeply.
Yeah, I guess this is one of them episodes where if you really, 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 really want to nitpick at it,
there are quite a few holes.
Yeah, you can pick little pieces with it. But overall, I think for what it was trying to do...
For what it is. And at the end of the day, it is just Doctor Who, so...
You could pick holes with any episode, I guess.
On about the ending with the bubble wrap thing, has this what threw me the most out of it all? That in the beginning, Ryan popped the bubble wrap through in the TARDIS, and then at the end, back in the TARDIS, there was Graham touching the bubble wrap, and then there was the Doctor saying, "Oh, don't do that." That just threw me thinking, well, Ryan did it. Yeah. So why can't Graham have done it? You get what I mean by that?
Yeah.
That absolutely threw me off again.
There was a line where, I don't know if it was Charlie or the Doctor mentioned that it's only in that sort of vicinity where the bubble wrap, that batch where the bubble wrap is explosive.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, and they said thousands and thousands of deliveries go out every day. If that's the case, thousands and thousands of people would have already died. So it's just that batch, that delivery that he was saving all that power for. All them power outages he was saving for that one big delivery. And it was just that batch of packaging was what had all the crazy explosive bubble wrap in it.
Yeah.
And I think Graham was just hesitant to touch it at the end because they were a bit like, well, what?
A bit creepy.
Yeah. Any batch could be rigged now. So I think that's what it was. It was referenced, and that's what I was trying to say earlier. There was so much information in that scene. I mean, 13 was incredible in that scene where she discovered what he was doing. She put the pieces together very quickly. It was a very, very, very doctory scene where she realised what was going on. She was like, this is why you've done that. That's why the system attacked you. That's what it was trying to tell me. And she put the pieces together very quickly. which is what the Doctor should do. But I think it was just the viewer was taking in so much information, it was easy to just miss a line, which could be important at the end of the episode.
Also,
hence why a rewatch was so
at the beginning of the episode, again, that confused me. Before we even met Charlie, and at that point, Jose was Charlie didn't know Yaz, and that scene, when she got sent where to go to the thing, why did he want to kill Yaz off? So when at that point, Jose was Charlie not even knowing who Yaz was. That threw me off as well. I
don't think it mattered who she was. I think he was just using people for test subjects.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been Naz. It could have been anyone. I think she was just the unlucky one who was chosen. And then obviously they used Dan to be the one who takes it for her as this big sacrificial. He didn't realise he was doing it, but he ended up sacrificing himself for her, which led to the great scene at the end. So I don't think I don't think he deliberately targeted Yaz. I think it was just a coincidence. It could have been anybody. 7 people had already gone missing anyway. They were random.
But it's just so confusing.
I think this is the
thing.
It's
very convoluted, like I said earlier. Yeah. It's just a bit full on.
Yeah, it's easy to, if you look deep enough, to think, well, why this, why that? But
yeah.
I think if we just enjoy it for what it was, it all just makes sense.
Yeah.
So I thought that, the ending is as convoluted, again, great word as it was, on rewatch, when you do put the pieces together, it makes sense. So I think that's fair enough. Also, for the first time, a villain died.
I know.
True.
I was not expecting that. I was
His
expecting
actions
at the very
caused
end,
him to die.
Yeah. I was expecting him to come running out, and at the end, the Doctor gives him a slap wrist.
Yeah.
And says, "That was naughty. Never do that again." But no, he died. So does that put to bed the whole theory that they're all going to return as big super duper villains, super squad at the end of the series? Which I don't think is a great idea anyway.
No. Unless those robots come back and someone else is controlling them to be evil.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, potentially. I don't think it's
likely.
Part of me thinks, well, it won't work anyway. It's just not right. It's not clever.
Having the Bating next to the Tim Shaw guy.
Tim Shaw, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. And then the mutant spider just crawls along.
Yeah. It wouldn't feel right. So then part of me thinks, well, if it's not right, did they deliberately not kill them off in the first 6 episodes, or did they just not realise they were doing it?
Maybe.
I have no idea. But he died anyway.
Yeah.
And it was sad in a way that he did die, because they gave him the option to survive and he just chose not to.
Yeah. And also killing off the side characters, which was quite, nice to see some actual, sacrifices happening rather than everyone just getting out alive.
It was.
Yeah, they're not afraid to do that. They're not afraid to build up people, build up characters, make them really likeable, and then kill them off.
Yeah.
It has a much bigger impact than just randomers getting killed who you don't care about. So, yeah, I think we've covered a lot of the episode.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, have we all got a rating now?
I still haven't got a rating.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think Liv's going to be going last.
I'm still struggling between 2.
I'll give you a clue. I had a rating, and I think just by talking about it's dropped a 0.5.
Okay.
Or should it? No. I'm gonna stick with my original. It's fair. I stick with my original rating because apart from the last 10 minutes, which weren't bad, they just puzzled me. I don't really think I can take too much away from the episode.
No.
So I thought Kerblam was a very quirky, fun, but also creepy and eerie Doctor episode. I thought the setting was great. I thought the side cast were fantastic, really likeable. I thought the acting from them all was great as well. I loved how you never really knew who the true villain was, and they kept adding suspicion to each character before the eventual reveal that it was Charlie in the end. Although the reveal with Charlie sort of came out the blue a little bit too much, I maybe would have preferred there to be a bit more of a build-up to it. But I thought it was good for what it was, and his motives were not the most, threatening ever, not the most vindictive or merciless sort of, motives, but it worked for the episode, I guess, so I can't really complain about that either. The TARDIS team were all solid. I can't really fault them. The only thing that really annoyed me was the sonic screwdriver. And the story as a whole I just thought was good. You could pick faults with it, of course. And the last 10 minutes, there was a lot of information getting thrown at you, which could throw you off pretty easily, like it did with you, Liv, until you watched it again. But I think if you take the episode for what it is, there's not that much I can really fault with it. And I did enjoy it. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Interesting.
What about you, the big bad Jacob?
Well, I'm not too far off of you, really. I think it was a solid episode. It was quite enjoyable. At the end of the day, it was a very, what I would assume would be a stereotypical Doctor Who episode. It was both light-hearted, kind of easy to watch, apart from the ending, which got a bit more convoluted. And then it was also an interesting threat, which wasn't really that clear throughout the whole episode, which, again, I did like, not knowing exactly what the threat was until the end. All the characters were, to me, likeable, and the acting was good. Kira, I actually enjoyed and was quite. I had sympathy for her when she was saying that she hadn't been given any gifts or whatever before. And then I thought the villain, as in Charlie, I thought the ending was actually good, but I think there could have been a better way of doing it, either by building up to the fact that he was the bad guy, or have it not so in your face towards the end. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
Just one lower.
Liv, has that helped you at all decide on your rating?
Probably not.
So I am still stuck between two, and I am torn, because overall, I really enjoyed the episode, but all that's got me is the ending and this Charlie guy. But at the end, there was a clever line that the Doctor said that you'd never suspect the maintenance man, which is clever in a way, but personally, because I would have liked the robots to have been behind it more for me, but that's just personal choice. I think I am going to give it a 7.5.
Oh,
7.5.
Sitting in the middle.
Sitting in the middle.
7.5.
I was going to drop mine down to a 7.5, but I feel like that would be too harsh. I did really enjoy it. The first 40 minutes I thought were very good.
Yeah.
So, I didn't want the last 10 minutes to throw me off that much. But interesting. A 7, a 7.5 and an 8.
Very nice.
Interesting. So do comment below your ratings out of 10 and what you thought of the episode, of course. Like this video if you've enjoyed it. Do subscribe to The Whoadics for much more Series 11 reviews to come. 3 episodes to go, of course. And if you've not subscribed, please do so already. You can follow us across all the social media. You can visit our website to find all the links to the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, and you can donate to us on Patreon if you like as well. Now, we've got 3 episodes left, and I've got a quick question for both of you.
Oh.
We've had 7 episodes. 3 to go.
Yeah.
What do you think is missing, and what would you like to see from the last 3 episodes? Is there anything that we've not seen yet that you'd really like to see? What do you think this series is still missing as we head into the final straight?
A really menacing villain to be scared of, proper jump out your seat and be like, oh my god, that is unbelievable. That is what I'm missing so far.
Yeah, I'm a similar thing, but I know as much as I do enjoy having new villains and threats, I am craving something we've had before.
I am.
Something to return that we're familiar to. And I know that won't happen because Chibnall is, dedicated to having everything brand new and accessible. But I am missing the familiarity of villains that we've had before.
I've got to agree with you, yeah. This series of Doctor Who, it's felt different enough, just with how it's been paced, maybe, how it's felt. It just felt different.
It's different
not
in so
bad
many
different.
ways.
Yeah, it's not felt bad different. It's felt good different. I've liked how this new Doctor Who has been. I like how they've been a lot more character focused. I liked how they've not focused as much on the action or the sci-fi. It's been a lot more emotionally intense, I guess you could say, with a lot sort of more hard-hitting subjects, which I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, back when I first said what I want Chibnall to take from Broadchurch.
Sorry.
That's a lot of them things what I wanted, he's delivered on. But of course, we are used to Doctor Who being a certain show with certain things.
Yeah.
And I've always said I want the likes of the Daleks to have a break so that we can miss them again and want them to come back. And I'm not saying I want the Daleks to come back, but I would just like a familiar villain. I think it would just make this era of Doctor Who feel like it's more part of what we've had before.
Like connected in a way.
Yeah, I mean, just by hearing references like the Unicorn and the Wasp or whatever.
The Fez.
Them things, it made me so excited. More excited than I should have, because I guess it's the first real connection we've had to
the
past Doctor Who. So just to see 13 come up against the Angels or something that, something that we've seen the Doctor face before, I think would be great. But for me, the main thing that I'm missing is high stakes.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've truly been tested yet or challenged.
No, I don't.
I feel like if I was a part of this TARDIS team, yes, I've seen a few things that might have upset me a little bit, but have they ever really been in danger? Have they ever really been at a point where things have looked like they are in big, big trouble? I don't think so. I don't think there's been a point where the stakes have been raised so high, really difficult decisions had to be made.
No.
So that's what I'm missing. I just want them to be challenged, and I want the stakes to be raised.
Another thing, as much as I'd hate to see it, but I wouldn't necessarily mind if one of the companions were killed by the end of the series.
Anyone but Graham. Anyone but Graham.
Well, I mean, I know they won't happen because all three of them are in the synopsis for the New Year special. But yeah, I would like to see some sort of actual major threat and dilemma that they're all like, how do we get out of this?
Yeah, and I think it would really test the 13th Doctor as well. I'd like to see her really put to the test as well.
Yeah, and it would reinforce the thing that she said like before she took them away, being like, this is dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it hasn't really been too super
not really.
dangerous yet.
I mean, I think the most dangerous thing that happened is Ryan and Yaz jumping down to that conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah, so that's what I'd want from the last 3 episodes. So do comment that as well, what you guys are missing and what you guys would like to see from the final 3 episodes of the series. And that's it for our review of Kerblam. So we hope you've enjoyed this review. Of course, we will be back next week for our review of episode 8, The Witchfinders.
Yeah, I think it is.
Am I right?
Another historical, it looks like.
It's got King James I in it.
Another historical, wow.
Yeah. So that should be interesting.
Really going for the historical this season.
They are. So, yeah, another educational one next week with a historical figure. Let's see how that one goes. But until then, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.